G'day, today we're going to have a look at level 15 in the Orcs Must Die 3 main campaign. This one's called Dragon Boneyard. We're going on Rift Lord difficulty and aiming for 5 stars. Now this is a war scenario level, so generally they're not too bad, because what we do is you just don't use your war scenario abilities and just use your standard ones. And
you scared, genius?
it's not too bad. So we've got 2 entrances in the north, one in the west and one in the east. So
Who would have guessed?
the first thing that I think we do is we block off this doorway here. So
It must go on the floor.
that's the floor. But so that means that everyone coming from the north and from the east have to come through this way here. So then what we can do is we can block this off,
Very good.
and then what we have is this path right here is where we can build. Now, I might build like. Go. We'll start off with the hardest thing that takes the most time to sort of go on a roof. I find that generally sort of a bit trickier to place things on a roof than anywhere else because you're sort of looking up.
Yes, I'm ready.
So it's not a bad thing to get those placed while you've got time to think, as opposed to trying to do it mid-wave. So what we're going to do is just sort of the initial build of our trap system. The thing that we're going to have to address reasonably early is when the guys start coming from this way, what we actually want to do is path them. We want to build a blocking wall here and there so that they actually go out that door. That means that we have to build all of those blocks and then have that gone before they arrive. So we've got that 3-second window to rip those 2 barricades up. That we need to be Johnny on the spot to make sure that does happen. Now the tricky thing in wave 1 is that we're going to need to be here because this trap system definitely isn't set up enough to manage all these big guys coming. But essentially any wave where we can be out of here, over there, and rip up at least one of those 2 barricades is what we need. So with that in mind, I'll just back up a little bit, just so I don't get hit by those archers. With that in mind, I'm gonna potentially avoid building partway through this wave, so that I can try and have that wall built at the end of this wave. It is a big amount of money to invest, but I think that it's worth having done. Because if we wait too long to get it done and then we miss our moment, basically our goal is to try and do it every single wave until we have it done. Because if we miss our moment to get it done and that wave shows up, we can't do anything. We basically just have to have them smash down whatever wall they want to smash down. Alright, so
That won't be the last.
this is the last section of this wave, all the guys coming at the moment. So I just want to keep an eye on the mini-map, because the ogres should be able to make it through, which means that I can face an ogre here, and if that's the case, then I can be ready to have my 3 seconds to pull up those traps. In fact, I can probably just stand here for the end of this wave. Might just claim an ogre for our side. Oh, why it's not helping out.
A worthy foe.
There are enemies in our rift room!
Who's next?
Oh no, there's another full wave of guys coming after what I thought was the end. Probably advance it again. And we might just, I can put up 2 more traps. I think we're well covered at this stage.
Fall, foul beasts! I'll never get that out of my roads.
If we can help get these kill streaks as long as possible, there'll be a little bit extra money that we'll have to spend, which will be ideal.
A vile creature, dead.
Okay, so now we're starting to see the end of these guys, so we will retreat back up here. We can actually probably start to build our wall. Oh, there comes the first of the ogres.
Another threat vanquished.
There we go. Okay, so now what we got to do is just build.
Excellent location.
Luckily we've got time to build here because this is a little bit off center. There we go.
Here,
These 2, and then
here's where they will
with a ton of money to save. Cool. So now what'll happen is those guys will just walk up that way, pass through there, and then have to pass through this same trap system as everyone else. Now all we've got to do is just improve this trap system to make sure that they can't keep passing through it like they currently are. Just use that just to fix that barricade that we can see is damaged. We'll stand back here, just so any archers that are in with them have to walk all the way into the trap system before they can see us. If we're too close, they can definitely do damage to the barricades too.
stay back, messy, but effective. I'm not cleaning that up. That worked well. That's a lesson for the rest. Messy, but effective. Not exactly tidy, but oh well.
We'll get some really nice multipliers on here.
Never get that out of my roads.
Times 11 there.
I'm not cleaning that up.
So you can see over here, these guys will still walk to here before they turn around and go back. So if that's a if we fail in time, that's where that becomes a problem. But hopefully we've got enough time to. I think the war scenarios are usually pretty generous in their time.
That worked well. Goodness me! A lesson for the rest. Finish them off. I'm not cleaning that up.
Now that we're starting to get towards having this second wall built here, if we want to try and rip up this
The barricade is under attack.
that fire trap there, because he's only being able to hit them on one square as they walk past, whereas if we turn him to face east, he'll have 3 squares in front of him that he can do damage on. So that's what we want to
Another threat.
plan for him. Just be careful here, because if we place that in a bad spot, then they'll we could risk blocking off the whole area, and then if we do that, then they'll just smash through a barricade because if all routes are blocked, they'll yeah, just pick their own barricade to go through, obviously.
Well, that's a challenge.
They're attacking a barricade.
Just lay down for a little bit, get some regen going.
Down it goes. Messy, but effective. I'm sorry to see that one.
They want to try and keep these kill streaks going, so also help us on the scoreboard.
A lesson for the rest.
There we go, so we grip that guy up. We'll turn him to face that way.
More enemies on the way.
Slide those two guys in there.
Location.
And then a few more dart traps over here.
Very good.
Now, I would expect that that might actually be enough. I'm not sure too many guys will get through all of that. We do have a boss come on this one. I think he heals. I think that's his ability. Now you can also see that we're now into wave 3, and we
The enemy
still
army
haven't
is
had that
attacking on another front. Look
that
out,
western
our
door
defenses have
open.
been
So I think it's
breached
wave
again.
4 that we do get that. So you do have plenty of time to do that barricade rebuild, like you've seen there.
Be gone. Not exactly tidy, but oh well.
Enemies are preparing to breach one of our gates.
Because the butterflies turn them around, I don't think it's worth having butterflies, say, over on that wall there. Even that one's a bit touch and go. Basically, I want them to sort of be in to the traps already, so when they turn around, they're actually just walking back through more traps. If they're walking out the front of it, it's probably not as effective. I mean, obviously, like, in terms of having them not get to the exit, it works as well as no matter where they are, but yeah, just on that front, I prefer them sort of wandering around inside the maze. Just trying, I guess, get those multipliers up. The butterflies are doing arcane damage for me, but I believe my wand should also be doing arcane damage, so just in case they haven't been hit by butterflies, me shooting them might actually give them another multiplier too. But if I'm shooting them before they get in the network, it's probably not going to help any. So the next build I'm going to do here, it's going to be no longer slowing, but just more straight out extra damage. So we should have all the different types of damage represented here. We've got acid in the walls, fire in the fire pits on the ground. Not too many of those around there. Oh, I think they're scattered correctly. Ice from the darts, electricity from the roof, arcane from the brimstone and the butterflies. So yeah, that's what's sort of giving us those really nice multipliers if we're getting hit by all of those different types.
A vile creature. Goodness me.
It's just a Null coming. I'm just trying to keep an eye on where he's coming from, whether he's going to come around or if he's going to come this way. Maybe I need to stand closer to try and encourage him to force his way through the traps. So does that make that sort of easy work of him? The other thing I can do with this wand is just fire like these explosive shots at them.
I'll never get that out of my robes.
That's in sort of impact damage, and so it's sort of just chipping away at everyone up there.
A lesson for the rest. Down it goes. Not exactly tidy, but oh
This is
well.
where we want to help clean up, because just in case time is a factor here, we could probably reset the traps to really get them
But effective.
smacked pretty hard.
Well, that was a challenge. Who's sorting out the pieces?
Just put in
Our
2 more
enemies are breaking
barricades.
through
Like I said, I don't
elsewhere.
think... I'm not really sure that the guys are going to get this far anyway.
Here they come.
Okay, so here you can see them entering over here.
Enemies at the rift.
And what they'll do is they'll visit the Rift Room, just wander on through, and have to come with everyone else on this other trap network.
There are enemies in our rift room. They're almost there.
I mean, it does mean that you get those warnings telling you they're almost there. They do seem a little bit confused up there. They keep wandering back and forth. But I mean, since they're the first guys to come through, it's not really a risk of our time because they're slowly figuring it out. It just sort of means that they're actually going to be closer to the other guys coming from the top, which gives us a slightly better chance of a kill streak help. But I'd imagine they're still going to get here way sooner. Now, I think it's possible we do get fire elementals on this level. I can't be sure. I would have thought we'd seen them by now if we did. Just for good measure, I'm going to chuck a bit of brimstone there.
That worked well.
There are enemies in our rift room.
I'm not cleaning that up. Not exactly tidy, but oh well. Not sorry to see
Enemies
that
at the
one gone.
rift.
Goodness me!
A good reason to not put any sort of traps in the rift room, like archers to say shoot at those guys as they go past, is if there is a fire elemental or someone coming from that
Never get that out of my
door. If you defeat them on their sort of first level and then they break down into their little explosive guys, if they do that in the rift room, they could potentially burst through and cause some issues. Whereas if they do it over here,
next.
there's still a fair bit of the trap network that they'd have to get through, even if they blow up those first row of barricades.
Who's sorting out the pieces? Another threat vanquished. I'm not cleaning that up.
But definitely it feels like time could be a concern here. But yeah, I think the war scenarios are quite generous.
That worked well. Not exactly tidy, but oh well. A lesson for the rest.
There are enemies in our rift room.
It'd be neat if you could speed it up. There's a it doesn't look like you could do it in Orcs Must Die 3, but in Orcs Must Die 2,
Enemies at the rift.
or in both games, there's a survival mode that basically you can just play a level for as long as you last, with the guys getting progressively harder. Now, unfortunately, I don't think they let you do that with the war scenarios, and the selection of levels aren't any that seem like a really one that would be a really fun, elaborate trap system that you can build. But In Orcs Must Die 2 you could, and that in Orcs Must Die 2 there was a trap that would mind control a guy if they walked on it, and they would stay mind controlled until they died, and that trap would sort of be used until they died, so you'd only have one guy mind controlled from it. And there was also a trap that allowed you to, if a guy walked on it, it would teleport them back to the start. So what you could do is there was some levels that obviously had like pools of water or lava nearby, so you could set it up so that you had launch traps, launch guys into the lava at the very start of their sort of pathing. Then as they got higher, you had guys get mind controlled, and then if they made it past that, you would just have this really long path of teleporters back to the start. So I reached a point in one level where I got to level wave, I think 255, because we just kept, because basically what would happen is everyone would get to the only way I was attempting to kill them was just by launching them, or they would fight each other, or they would then go back to the start and just repeat that process over and over again. And I think I got 250 waves, which was overnight, because it was such a efficient working system that it actually lasted that long on its own. Here we go, last wave and a boss. Then unfortunately what happened is, I think it was so... The guy got fired off the edge at one point, and he got stuck, and I couldn't get to him. So I had to suicide my character to... because I think if you died in that one, you actually lost rift points. And so I could sort of do that to have the level end, and then it crashed, and I didn't get to keep my my like score from my 14-hour session or so. But yeah, definitely if you haven't played the other two games and you're enjoying these videos and considering it, even though Orcs Must Die 1 I think is about 10 years old now, the graphics will be a little bit less, but the gameplay is almost exactly the same. And both Orcs Must Die 2 and 3 are co-op, so if you're considering it, but you also do have someone that you enjoy playing games with, these are definitely fun games to play with a buddy. Okay, now we've got to be careful of this boss coming. Really, the bosses can just be a world of levels of difficulty harder than everyone else we've seen. We obviously have a lot of money still, so we could end up suffering from having used that. I think this guy's just a healer. There he is.
Well, that was a challenge.
There are enemies in our rift room.
That won't be a lesson for the rest.
Not him there, but he's somewhere back there.
Enemies at the rift.
Well, that was a challenge.
Some mind control's gonna do some good here to slow him down, keep him in that trap network. Having a null come at us isn't gonna be great though.
I'll never get that out of my ropes.
But I think he's now spent too long in this system that he's not getting out anyway.
Who's next?
Lovely.
The barricade is under attack.
I'm not cleaning that up.
Hopefully we can keep this kill streak alive for a while. No, there it goes. Too soon.
You won't get past me. Who's sorting out the pieces? Goodness me! A vile creature. Death.
There are enemies in our rift room.
There's a fire guy, so this is where we want to be careful.
Down it goes.
Now if another fire guy does come, that barricade's going to be in trouble. So we've got to... I guess...
They've destroyed a
Yeah, there we go.
barricade.
All we've got to do is just have an absurd amount of money and we can fix it as soon as it goes. No one even notices.
I'm not cleaning that up.
Enemies at the rift.
Sorting out the pieces.
Constantly make you panic, those enemies at the rift. falls.
The barricade is down.
Goodness me!
Let's see if we can get eyes on
They're
that barricade.
almost there.
And luckily we have built well enough beyond it that even if they wander through, they've got this whole path extra to do.
That worked well. A worthy foe. A lesson for the rest.
There are enemies in our rift room.
Messy, but effective. Who's sorting out the pieces? Not exactly tiny, but oh well.
Enemies at the rift.
What we might do is just go wander over here, because there's a guy hanging around at the back here.
I'll never get that out of my robes.
That if we are close on the clock,
They're almost there.
Not sorry to see that one gone. Goodness me!
The barricade is under attack.
Who's sorting
these are the
out
guys we want to
pieces?
just be careful of.
I'm not cleaning that up.
They're attacking a barricade.
A lesson for the
I mean, what we
rest.
can do as well is we can just build a backup line of barricades here too, so even if they do pull up those ones closest to them. So we'll just pick off all the guys that are at the back. Like I said, I don't think anyone's going to get through the actual trap network.
Be gone.
We can just get the stragglers.
That worked well.
But they've destroyed a
Are we done
barricade.
already?
Done. Alright. Let's see how we did. Beautiful. In time. Check out the stats. Yeah, well within that clock. They're very generous with those ones. We can jump back to the campaign menu. We can have a look to see how what's on the leaderboard. There we go. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. But till next time, catch you later. See ya.